able to convert it. Champion Maverick Vinales in the middle, and then of course Marc Marquez, 8 times a winner so far in Prix, and 8 times world champion, 6 of those in MotoGP of course. Cal Crutchlow absolutely fighting with an animal, and that's the Honda. He's the second fastest Honda out there, but he's back on the 5th row. Is of course hang on, 73.58 miles, round 15 is away, and down towards turn 1. There's so much riding on this. Marquez, that was a bit of a reticent start for him, wasn't it? And he's going to drive out of turn 1 if he can onto this back straight. We know the Honda's good, but what I'm amazed at is the way that the Yamaha held their own down that straight.
That was incredible, actually. I'm shocked.
It's easy to do when you've got a lot of nerves, and there were a lot of nerves down there. Look at this, out goes Morbidelli out into the rough stuff as well, but it is up front. It is a long way for motorbike and man, and we are going to have the biggest old race here in Buriram, that's for sure. He's got it all worked out, but I just couldn't see him having the same kind of arrogant pace when he came from virtually nowhere from earlier on in the week. But 26G battering that we're talking about with Marc Marquez, he actually got off the floor, went to the hospital. Adam Emery's hotter now than we were then.
That's right, he did a 23-lap run on his last lap. He did a 31.0
race as well. That's pretty impressive round the outside of Quartararo. So then it's
in there too deep.
A few mile an hour extra over the Yamaha down into that turn as well. It's all got to be stopped. Mass versus brakes. Still Quartararo. It's a long way to go in this race, and what concerns me very slightly, when they start to lose a little bit of grip from these motorbikes, on some of these little Honda being as lively as it is, he's going to have a job to stay on it.
Yeah, you think the previous races we've seen to cycle like this, with the humidity, it's 30 degrees but feels like 40 because of the humidity.
He's been having a good weekend as well. Joan Mir, the rookie, looking very good on the Suzuki, beating his teammate Rins, who's behind Ross Espargaro, up there in 10th place. Taka Nakagami, the second of the Hondas at the moment. Where is Crutch?
Some worse. This morning he was 19th in the morning warm-up. I mean, I have never seen Cal down in 19th place.
It's the other way. Marquez manages to control that apparently by using a whole load of rear brake. I see a whiff of smoke. I just saw a little whiff of smoke, but we'll keep an eye on it. Whatever happens, it's Quartararo under pressure, and we know he can handle pressure every test so far. Would he crack under pressure? Misano, and Marquez.
The mistake you could say he's made all year was in the first Grand Prix, stalling it on the line. That is about the only mistake we've seen.
The problem for me just there was that Quartararo was using, I think, just a bit of the green work.
If they class that as 1, let's say, you're allowed, what is it, 2 or 3?
3, I think, isn't it? Well, I mean, it's discretion. What did we do last time? 1:31.4. We're at the end of the lap.
Yeah, what we've seen, Marquez's pace. So at this point,
on a worn tyre.
Exactly. At this point, I think Marquez is not stressing. He knows it's a long race.
Behind him and where they are than what's going on in front at the moment. And he's got to be hurt. You do not take a trip down in the Buriram town and not have an ache or two. A little slower than we've seen him. He's an athlete that jumps around quite a lot, and we've not really seen that. Still a relatively high fuel load as well, so it will feel a bit heavy. Two Suzuki.
Brilliant.
It's just not right. I mean, it's a terrible situation. And Lucio Cetinello's going grey all over. And placed on the 93 bike, right up behind the 20 of Quartararo. And that is now half a second, in other words. Quartararo lead over Marquez at the line last time round. Maverick Vinales being dropped off in 3rd place. The ride from him, and once again he's going to be fighting with Rossi, because Rossi's the man that's chasing after. Rossi's crew chief next year, Silvano Gobachera, will David Munoz, who comes across from Moto2, Bullega's team in the VR46 operation. Oh, Rossi, that's a big old deal that Valentino's gone with there. Breath of fresh air, it would seem, for 2020. Wrong, didn't he? And back comes Mir. These two are now going to be rubbing shoulders.
He will not
get the better of the 23-year-old Alex Rins.
He just looks a bit ragged, Rins, doesn't he?
It might rain for this, so I thought he might well be a podium material with that Suzuki, but the rain...
To say he's caught the field already.
It really is. He's caught Lorenzo. Lorenzo's done and dusted, so...
Tell you what, Quartararo stretching.
And look at the times he's doing. He's doing 31 low.
You know what I mean? He wouldn't sit back a second. Not a second, but like that gap. I know it's not a big gap.
Up sooner than he's wrapped up any other title ever. Commentary position here as well, along with the heat and humidity, comes some fairly ugly looking small
that bit just to keep everything cool.
I think he's right.
Heat is a massive issue around here. Normally on a track you would be tight and overheat and the motor. So
I think
could be. That could be right.
Marc Marquez is very, very smart, but they've now switched that a little bit, and finally they've given Fabio Quartararo, and it's made massive. Looked at it.
Well, he was always the bottom 3 every track we've been to. Where this weekend, and we're talking around the mid-pack, hasn't he?
Not anymore on speed. Top speed of that Yamaha, a little bit better for Yamaha at the moment. When you looked at qualifying, Quartararo on a Yamaha first, Maverick Vinales on a Yamaha second. Franco taps on the gas straight away.
First man into the 30s as well, look at that. Like he tyre, when he's been doing his race runs, he has not had those lap times like Fabio.
saving him up. That's tight. He's going to... Now Mir, Rinzer's already gone past Rossi. Rossi's fading here. Rossi's fading. Well, I've got to say as well, it has a bigger impact on your body than when you're 20 odd years old. There is no doubt about
There is a reason.
Maybe
Incredible motorcycle racers.
As he is.
You just can't continue to cope with this heat.
It's like a war when you're out there in this. Digging in is all very well, but we've already seen a couple of podiums here, and they take their helmet off and you think, hang on a minute, it's hardly any sweat. If that was me, I'd be dripping. Quartararo, what did we see last year when we came out of the Phillip Island Australian Grand Prix? We were in the queue of a squash or something. He's out running. We're in a queue, and he's already out running and retraining for the next round.
But not Quartararo, look at him. And we both said at the time, I'll tell you what, so obviously by then we knew he was going to MotoGP. I said he's
this racetrack, and that really is the Liberty Takers part of the track, I think. That turn 4-5, and then of course you've got 6. Looking good, that Honda, but it's just a question of whether he's using it all just yet. He looks like he's closed that down. It was 0.50 for Fabio Quartararo, so we'll see when they get to this turn 12 again next time around as we...
will not be happy at all.
He'll want to win.
All.
It's closing right in now.
But
it was down to 0.3 by the way at the line last time.
It was like Mark. You could just see him carrying that little bit more speed in the corner.
Having said that, we know that Quartararo is prepared to risk. This is where the Honda and Marc Marquez more likely is so good through here. He's closed Quartararo right down. But there isn't. It looks in good order still. The Honda does as well.
Yeah, so do the fronts.
So not a tyre issue that's well, pretty shocking the way they ride motorbikes now. The amount of curve that you take inside and outside. All the wheels go in line and it pushes forward straight away. We were watching it through qualifying.
Well, that's the Casey Stoner technique. He was
get the line between these two, but I don't really need to tell you that because you can see it in front of you. Quartararo, Marquez, Vinales is just over the line. Alberto Puig watches on. All their jobs are riding on Marc Marquez, I was going to say, and that is with Takaki Nakagami.
Then the late, bear in mind that's the 2018 Honda. The next
in 19th place, 33 seconds behind.
After just 13 laps, still...
It's going to explode there eventually. Alberto Puig seems to be a bit harsh towards Lorenzo as well. Lorenzo will be picking that up on the radar. That's left after this one.
We don't think he's going to be, Lorenzo that is, we don't think he's going to be riding for Honda next year, do we?
Well, when it comes to stock value, one of your favourite phrases.
This man.
Yeah, he's just so good. Hello.